World War II began on the 1st of September 1939 with Hitler's invasion of Poland. America's original position was to maintain neutrality during the war, but on December 7th, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. The next day, the United States declared war against Japan. Then, on December 11th, 1941, leader of Nazi Germany Adolf Hitler and leader of Fascist Italy Benito Mussolini declared war on the United States. The United States of America, a country with its own history of what has been described as proto-fascism, joined the biggest war in history against fascism. From 1941 to 1943, Dr. Seuss was the chief editorial cartoonist for the New York-based newspaper PM. He drew hundreds of anti-fascist political cartoons during the time he worked there, and an entire collection of his works called Dr. Seuss Went to War is available online. I thought we could look at some of these comics, discuss their effectiveness on a modern audience like us, and wrestle with some of their more problematic aspects. So right here I have the page Dr. Seuss Went to War, and I just figured we could go through some of the comics and see exactly how woke they are in the modern context, really. I'm titling this video Dr. Seuss Made Woke Cartoons, but what it really should be titled is Dr. Seuss Made Anti-Fascist Cartoons. And that's because a lot of these comics are a little bit insensitive towards ethnic Japanese people. So let's check this out. September 1939. So this is 2 years after the war started. Let's check out January. On January 30th. Okay, so this says Virginio Gato says, a prominent Italian fascist journalist. So that's funny. PM does not hold itself responsible for the opinions of the editor of, and I think that's the fascist newspaper. So that's kind of funny. So let's keep going. I'm recording, right? Okay. April 1941. Oh, this one looks like a quarter. Let's see what this says. United States of America, in God we trust, and how? Oh, that's funny. And it's a guy with his head under the sand. The Lindbergh Quarter. I think that has to do with Charles Lindbergh, but I don't know much about him. He was an American aviator, military officer, and author. So let's see. Controversy. Anti-Semitism and views on race. Lindbergh's anti-communism resonated deeply with many Americans, while his pro-eugenics views and Nordicism enjoyed social acceptance. His speeches and writings reflected his adoptions on views, race, religions, and eugenics, similar to those of the German Nazis, and he was suspected of being a Nazi sympathizer. However, during a speech in September 1941, which appears to be May, June, July, August, 5 months after Dr. Seuss calls him out for being fucking head in the sand, says, no person with a sense of dignity of mankind can condone the persecution of the Jewish race in Germany. It's a guy who is racist and changed his mind when shit got real. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's check out 1942. Let's do January. Ooh, these look pretty good. Okay, so here's one. It has they make the I used to know the guy's name, Tadeki. They make Tadeki look like a worm with like these squinty eyes and this upturned nose, and it's funny because he didn't even really look like that. That's how you know it's sort of a racist caricature. And it's funny because like we live in a world nowadays where we recognize that like using one race as caricature to call another guy racist or to call another guy like fascist or anything like that is dumb. And so seeing something like this is pretty funny. But so we have like, let me make sure I'm calling him the right thing. It's Hideki. It's Hideki Tojo. Okay, so I got it close. Come on. And they're snakes and they're bothering Uncle Sam in his covers. Happy New Year, but boy, what a hangover. I'm not sure if I get that one. Okay. Here's another one. It says, it's Walter Weeper. Generously oversubscribing his quota of tears, he enabled others to furnish the the blood and sweat. So that's weird. I don't know what that's referring to. There's another one. Champ, ain't it about time we tied on the other glove? And it looks like he's criticizing the U.S. for fighting just the Pacific Theater, maybe. Because we're only fighting. Well, we did storm Normandy, as far as I'm aware, but we generally just fought in the Pacific. So maybe that's what he's talking about right there. I need to learn more about World War II. I think that's what I'm learning here. So it won't be long now, erected in honor of the wishful listeners. They spent the war listening for the sudden cracking of German morale. That's pretty funny. We kind of sort of have something similar happening with Israel right now, where the genocide is causing a lot of Israelis to like come out and protest the length of the war. They're not really protesting the genocide as much, but they're protesting the length of the war, and people use that as sort of like a way of being like, look, they're cracking their society. It's going to fall in on itself because they're so like pro-war that like there's no way this can maintain, and like they're people who aren't pro-war are eventually going to like break it, and they're going to be cracks in the system. And it's wishful thinking. It's at the very least wishful thinking. Now I do wonder, and I don't know if he's ever said anything about it, but I do wonder what, Dr. Seuss said about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I do wonder what he said about the bombings of Berlin. I am interested in, like, if we say that the wishful listeners are the ones doing nothing, what do we say about the people who dropped the nuke? Are they doing the most? So I'm going to look at one more. Maybe we'll come back to these. So here's January 21st, 1942, and it's Early Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler. I reject milk from Holstein cows as non-Aryan. And he's throwing his milk at his housekeeper. Adolfikins. Oof. That's funny, I guess. This is funny. Mein Early Kampf. Okay. That's what I said the whole time. Okay. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, that's all I'm going to do with that.